Let's build a simple Python utility to download files from Project Gutenberg and do word counting on those files. Let's learn some basic concepts by doing a code review. In this particular code review, I'll be reviewing a piece of code that allows you to download files from Internet Archive and basically generate word counts for each of those files. So let's dig in. If you look at the main block out over here, what we are doing is we are iterating over a list called books. So let's just look at the books list real quick. It's nothing but the IDs of each of the files, but it has ebooks in it, and this was intentional. The idea is I want to show you another important feature in Python called replace, and it allows you to do string substitutions. So basically it's a list of all the book IDs that we have. After that, what we do is we call a function called download books. Let's look at the download books function. Excuse me. If you look at real quick, what we do is we extract the book ID from the file name or supposedly URL, and we use the f strings to create the name of the file which we're going to store. And again, if you look at line number 110, we're using f strings to figure out what URL we want to generate and download from. The next important thing that you want to draw your attention to is this particular line 111. We basically download the file using the request.get function from the request module. After that, we check the status. So if everything is good, HTTP typically returns 200. That's what we check on line number 112. After that, we just save it to whatever file name, and then we do return two things. Now this is a thing that is unique to Python, but after that a lot of languages have adopted it. But you can have multiple return types in Python, right? So it can return more than one values. In this case, what we are returning is the name of the file and the success status. The true in this case represents the success status. If we fail, we just return none and we return the false. So once that is done, once we have our file to process and the success status, if and only if our success is equal to true, we invoke the function called count words. Count word takes in the name of the file that we want to process, and it will return the total words in that particular file. Let's look at the implementation of count words. We are using the default dictionary for counts in here. The width, again the width parameter is like the context manager. What we are doing is we are reading through each file line by line. We are doing some stripping of the text, and we are doing the lowercase normalization. Once that is done, we do tokenization. The tokenization actually happens on line number 127. Bear in mind, when you do a dot split function, if you don't specify the limiter, by default it is going to be a white space. Alright, after that we do a frequency count for all the words in that particular file, and basically on line number 129 we return a sum of count of values. So count is a dictionary and values is list of all the frequency for all the terms in that particular file, and that's how we get our count, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully this basic walkthrough of the code has explained you a few basic concepts of Python, namely the usage of f strings, the organization of code in the function blocks out over here, using the replace line. So replace is basically a string operation that you can do to clean things up, and use of the context managers. So there you have it. See you in the next video. See you folks.